Okay, we'll make a start on our first webinar. So welcome everybody to our European Electronic Cybersecurity for Education. Your guest presenter and speaker this afternoon is Glenn Jones from Sophlee. I will hand over to Glenn to run through his presentation, his hints and tips and tricks for you. As I said previously, for those that have just joined, on the top toolbar, you will see a Q&A area. It's two bubbles with a question mark in. Please do feel free to drop your questions into this area as Glenn talks and imparts information on you, and I will read them out and we'll get you some answers. Over to you, Glenn. Thank you.
Perfect. Over to me. Brilliant. So yeah, thank you to European Electronic, first of all, for inviting me along to this to give this presentation on cybersecurity. Yeah, happy to answer questions as we go along. Feel free to put them in the chat. So yeah, a little bit about me first. So yeah, Glenn Jones, so cybersecurity director here at Sophlee. Got about 10 years experience in cybersecurity now. Predominantly background is operational technology, so power stations, nuclear, wind farms, renewables, but then now helping out the education sector. I also volunteer for the NCSC, work with the NCSC as well, writing white papers and giving guidance and advice with those guys as well. Email at the bottom is gjones@sophlee.com if you want to contact me, or I'm on LinkedIn as well. And then happy to go through Kelly if you with any follow-ups as well. So essentially, education sector, yeah, big target at the moment. You know, with critical national infrastructure, you've also got education is a target with valuable data. So schools and colleges obviously store personal data on students, staff, families, names, addresses, personal PPI, sometimes even payment information. So cyber criminals want to get their hands on that data. With the weaker cyber defenses, that's obviously we know about lack of budget at the moment, and there's obviously staff and expertise for robust cybersecurity solutions, which is making it an easier target to cyber criminals, hacktivists, espionage, nation state as well. You know, they're the APTs, advanced persistent threat actors, that are currently targeting education sectors as well. So yeah, large attack service. So you've got hundreds, thousands of users, from obviously the students having student accounts, having multiple devices, bring your own devices. More and more things are going online as well, where traditionally it was all on-prem and you knew what your boundary was. But now where they're going into cloud, yeah, that's with online systems, more potential entry points for attackers. Obviously, high disruption with impact as well. So attacks like ransomware can severely disrupt your learning and operations, making schools most likely to pay ransoms. So that's why they do it. With the NCSC guidance, they say, yeah, not to pay the ransom, have a robust backup strategy solution. But yeah, cyber criminals just think schools are most likely going to pay. Yeah, number 5, low awareness and training as well. So staff and students may lack cyber awareness training. There is free training out there with the NCSC, but there's also more things that you can do with paid solutions, with having phishing simulated attacks. And then, yeah, previously mentioned number 6, attractive for nation state and hacktivists as well. So just a couple of figures. Obviously, 60% of secondary schools, 85% of further education colleges, 91% of higher education institutions experienced a cyber breach in the past year. There are figures online as well. Happy to share that with the survey that was taken with how many schools. But yeah, we're trying to educate users and schools how not to be in the news and have that that data breach that we all don't want. So Department of Education, they come out with now a cybersecurity standard. It was guidance last year, but they've now turned it into a standard, which have 7 core topics really in there. So yeah, conducting a cyber risk assessment. So conducting it annually, but then we still want to review it every term. Having cyber awareness plans, that's the training, because obviously the number one route to get in is the phishing. You know, send an email, user clicks on it, and typically an attacker's in then. So yeah, just trying to educate users, students, and staff what to spot and what to look out for. Configuration of firewalls. So that's essentially your boundary to protect your devices and your network from those attackers. Managing access and permissions, so trying to do least privilege with those users, not having a domain administrator just as a standard user being logged in, because an attacker can just, once you get that user, you essentially own that network. Enforcing MFA, and then your backups is a key point that you want to try and look at as well. With European Electronic, so we have designed a secure ed package, we've called it. We've packaged it up, which essentially helps you cover these core 7 topics within the standards. You know, it includes a risk assessment, it includes phishing, penetration testing, both external and internal, does reviews of your permissions. So yeah, if you want any more information on that, I'm sure Kelly will be happy to provide more information on that secure ed package as well. So Cyber Essentials and Plus. So in the DFE standard, it also says that senior stakeholders, governors, should look at Cyber Essentials and Plus, because they basically map the 5 technical controls to those 7 technical elements within the DFE standard. We pull this one up. So yeah, Cyber Essentials. So it's a self-assessment, essentially questionnaire that you complete. It's a certification, government backed as well. NCSE are pushing it. If the school or multi-academy trust turns over less than £20 million a year, they also get free cybersecurity insurance as well as part of that Cyber Essentials. And the Cyber Essentials Plus a little bit more involved, but there's a common myth that it's a lot harder to get Cyber Essentials Plus than it is Cyber Essentials. But if you're saying what you're doing at Cyber Essentials, there's no reason why you can't get Plus. It's just more of a audit from an assessor, doing vulnerability scans on site, things like that. And whereas Cyber Essentials, yeah, it's a self-assessment questionnaire. But then the 5 technical controls within Cyber Essentials, so user access control. So that's basically ensuring you use a standard user account for day-to-day activities, not logging in that domain administrator. Another one, security updates. So essentially checking that all your software is still supported by the vendor. That's one of the biggest things in Cyber Essentials, is your hardware, must be supported, must be receiving those security updates. And then patching within critical and high vulnerabilities within 14 days as well. Secure configs, that talks around removing unrequired software and accounts, disable auto run and autoplay within your secure config. Malware protection, make sure you have AV installed on your end user devices, including Chromebooks. You've got to make sure those also have malware protection as well. And then your firewalls and routers, make sure all inbound ports must be closed unless you have a documented process or reason why they're open. Just not leaving a insecure protocol like FTP or SSH. You can't leave those open to the internet. So one of the probably the biggest questions I get asked with this is scoping. Essentially, how do we scope? Do we just scope a individual school? Can we certify a whole trust? And it all depends on scope and how your school is networked together. So essentially, if a multi-academy trust has schools on separate networks, it may be best for each school to apply for Cyber Essentials individually. But if they share a network, then yeah, it must cover all of them unless there's parts that are legacy and they're not supported, then there must be a technical separation between those networks. So that could be a VLAN off from that network. That will then exclude that from the scope. But you can, yeah, it totally depends how your school, your MAT network together. And then two really useful websites to look at as well. So IASME is the awarding body for Cyber Essentials, and then Sophlee a certification body for that scheme. They have a knowledge hub, and there's an actual section there for education. There's a webinar on it as well by IASME that you can listen. So that's a really useful resource. And then if you're not sure whether you're ready for Cyber Essentials, there is a Get Ready for Cyber Essentials readiness tool on that website as well. Yeah, really useful to go and have a look at. So yeah, try to separate this out into student, staff, and IT teams really. Essentially for students, yeah, try not to share. Well, don't share your login credentials, shout them across the classroom, or if you're trying to do homework outside of school, then yeah, try not to share your login credentials with that. Social engineering. So it's now seen that obviously with Discord is normally a gaming chat platform, and attackers are starting to use Discord to try and socially engineer children to give more information. So yeah, be wary of Discord as well, and try and enable MFA where you can. For staff, yeah, strong passphrases, password managers. Definitely try and use password managers, but strong passphrases. Use 3 words, a special character, and a number. Try and use, for example, a pound sign instead of an exclamation mark, because hackers run through things called password lists, and normally they're Americanized, so they don't recognize a pound sign. They normally recognize a dollar, but not a pound sign. So that's one to think about there. And yeah, be cautious of the phishing emails. You can hover over a link and it will normally tells you where that URL is going to. So if you don't recognize it, yeah, just don't click it. And then IT teams, yeah, apply principle of least privilege. Don't log in as a domain admin all the time. Log in as a standard user, then elevate your privilege. Make sure patching systems are regularly, have a patching schedule for VPNs, your boundary, your firewalls. You want to be looking at that. Try and put monitoring in place, network monitoring, or even just try and review if you've got Active Directory, turning those alerts on. Then yeah, perform and test backups as well. So it's okay to say, yeah, we're just taking backups, but make sure you test them as well. That's definitely key. And then one other thing as well. So NCSC have now released a system called an early warning system. So this is basically a free service, proactive cyber alert system designed by the NCSC, National Cybersecurity Centre, to help detect threats before they can actually impact a network as well. The NCSC monitors cyber threat intelligence feeds, including domain names and IP addresses. So if you have a range of IP addresses, you can put this into the system along with your domain. It normally takes, once you register, normally about 48 hours, because they verify you are saying that you do own that domain, for example. It's not an attacker trying to get that information. They receive around 88 million events per month as well through this service. And one of the difficulties they've said is trying to contact or trying to find a point of contact if they do think there's a threat that's going to be onto your network. So if they're listening and they think, yeah, you're going to be ransomware in a couple of hours or 24 hours, 2 days time, then they'll let you know to say, look, we've heard that there may be a ransomware attack coming. You might want to think about blocking access to these systems. And it's free. You know, that it's worth doing, you know, with the NCSC. In 2024, the NCSC sent 559 notifications to significant cyber activity, and that's what they call a white glove service as well. And sometimes one of the hardest things with the NCSC, they say, is they contact a person, and then sometimes they don't even know who the NCSC are, or they don't believe them as well. But oh yeah, this isn't really going to happen to us. But yeah, if you sign to this system, it's 100% passive, doesn't cost anything, and it's free, so it's definitely worth looking at as well. So in terms of a couple of takeaways, yeah, try and implement those Cyber Essentials 5 security controls the best you can. Obviously use that readiness tool, sign up to the NCSC early warning system, 100% passive, it's free, worth doing. And then yeah, if an email doesn't look like or seems too good to be true, then yeah, probably is. Yeah, just don't click on that.
Yeah.
Essentially a quick whistle-stop tour of some of the pointers, really.
That's really good, Glenn. Thank you. It's so important to know where to go, where there's free resources, where we don't have to be spending any budgets, and making sure that we all take an active part in taking responsibility for the health and security of our networks. Just having a look here, and there's Tracy's asked if we'll share a copy of the slide deck with everybody, so I can confirm that yes, we will be doing so. There's a couple of questions that have come through that I'll make a start with. I don't know if anybody has any questions or thoughts at this moment in time. Feel free to pop your hand up, put it in the chat, or in the Q&A as Tracy's done. We have had one of our trusts that sends their apologies that couldn't make it, but we've been having a discussion with on and off. And they'd heard about the NCSC site and a question they wanted to ask you, Glenn. They have a managed service contract in place. So they're a fully managed service trust by an external company. Who needs to register the trust for the NCSC site?
Yeah, so if you have an MSP already in contract, they can sign up on your behalf, so they'll get the notification. In the portal, basically there's a Teams bit, and an MSP can set up lots of customers in that Teams. Or if the school themselves want to register, they can register as well.
Okay, so that's really
it can handle both.
Yeah, and that's that's really good to know. And I have just made a very quick note of either or, and we can take them. I shall share the link with them so they can make a decision as to who wants to register it. But it's good to know it's quite fluid, which is great.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, there is a question here as well. What is the cyber alarm and what help does the government offer schools? That's a good one, Glenn. That's caught you on the back foot, right?
Yeah. I'm gonna have to take that one away with me. What is the cyber alarm with that? Yeah, I'm gonna have to take that one away with me, if that's okay, and get back to you.
Yeah, if you can, that would be good. And then when I send the slide deck out to everybody, I'll make sure there's a Q&A written down, and then everybody can have that.
Definitely.
A question just come through. Is the NS the same as police cyber alarm?
No, two separate organisations.
Okay.
Police cyber alarm is a different organisation that's run by the police, essentially,
Okay.
but the police actually get feeds from the NCSC.
So two separate
Two
organisations,
separate organisations. Yes. Yep.
but the NCSC feed the police
They do.
alarm. Yeah.
This information. Yes. Yep.
Okay. Just so I get the answers right for everybody. Okay. There's another question here, and it's one that I think everybody probably is thinking about, is how can I keep my staff informed on the latest risks for cyber?
It's a hard one.
Okay.
So some of the platforms with obviously the paid for phishing platforms, you get regular blogs in there that
Yep.
gets updated. That then you can educate your users through that. There's a thing called CISP as well, that basically you get vulnerability notifications, which is again another portal on the NCSC to do that.
Okay. So I guess in essence, by us sharing the slide deck with the links that you've put in, those free resources that you've recommended.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly that.
Okay, brilliant. There is another question that came in from it's a bit of it, but it's about devices. So
Okay.
they have Chromebooks and iPads, and I know you mentioned Chromebooks
Yeah.
in the first part of the presentation. The question is basically, do they need to protect them?
Yes.
Okay.
With iPads as well,
Yeah.
having a MDM in there, so if they are lost or stolen as well, you can remote wipe them. Ideally, if devices are enrolled into, for example, Intune, so if a staff member leaves it on a train, their laptop, they can remote wipe it.
Yeah.
But having that centrally managed portal, is definitely key.
I think there's always that assurance, if you like, that Google have never been hacked. So it's quite a key question: is do we need to take any
Do we need to
further?
do anything? Yeah.
They appear to be so secure. I think that you're quite right in that the message should be yes, absolutely, because we don't know what the next risk is. Okay, I'm just going to flip back into our Q&A area. How can one of our schools de-risk the use of USB drives, as they say that they still need to use them? Or can they?
Yeah, so there's a term called sheep dip,
Okay.
which essentially is you have like a USB scanner. You can have them at reception, you can have them anywhere. And if you need to scan this USB, you can plug it in, and it basically does a virus check before plugging it into that end user device. But then if you do find a USB lying around in a car park, don't just plug it into your machine either. Go and take it to your IT office, and they should know how to handle that.
Yeah, sure. Okay, thank you. Just trying to have another look. One last one that I've received, and everybody that's with us still, please feel free to interact. What is the best type of password? As in, what type of password is the strongest? Now, you did allude to this with 3 words, some numerals, and a special character.
Exactly that, yeah. Ideally above 12 characters.
Above 12 characters. Okay.
Yeah. That's ideally what you want to try and target. If you've got an administrator password, then ideally, you want to be increasing that even more. Totally random as well. But then have stored that in a password manager, so then you don't even need to remember the password, and it auto fills it in. Then that's what you need to be looking at.
And you did mention something about not using an exclamation mark as the special character.
Yeah, so typical passwords normally have an exclamation mark or a you know, a $sign. But yeah, rather than using that, because that's in every single password list going now, and there's dictionary attacks, all sorts for doing a pen test. But yeah, changing that to a £sign. A lot of these rules are Americanized, so they don't know what a £sign is.
Ah, okay. I was wondering what the benefit of that was. I knew there would be one. I was
Yeah.
kind of thinking, well, what's wrong with a hashtag or an ampersand? But yeah, the
Mhm.
£sign actually does make a lot more sense when we think about the
Yes,
target and the threat from
it is.
alternative countries.
Yep,
Okie
definitely.
dokie. Okie doke. Well, I've made that as a note as well against that question. Lastly, have you got any favorite hints and tips that you usually share at conferences or at your cyber events when you're speaking to MI5 and doing your exciting work?
Backups. That's always, you know, making sure you have a robust instant recovery plan, because it's not normally a matter of if, it's a matter of when it's going to happen. So making sure you test that recovery, test that instant response plan as well. Know where
Okay.
your backups are. You know,
Okay.
don't just store them on site. Having the off-site backup as well. Um, that's probably the biggest thing I would say. Make sure you can recover from a cyber attack.
Okay. Put that in there. That's a bit of a loaded question, that one, isn't it? Which kind of brings us to the end of our webinar.